On behalf of the National Aeronautics and Space Administration and our director, Dr. Kurt Debus, welcome to the John F. Kennedy Space Center. During your visit, you will see facilities and equipment which play vital roles in launching American vehicles into space. We can't visit all of the facilities at the Spaceport, for a full tour of each would require several days. However, by means of this film and the bus tour which is available to you, the magnitude and purposes of the major facilities of the Spaceport can be readily understood. The Spaceport is located on Merritt Island, just across the Banana River from Cape Kennedy. This is where we are, the Visitor Information Center. 1 mile east of us is the industrial area where the majority of the 20,000-man government industry team carry on their work. 5 miles to the northeast is the lunar launch facility, Complex 39. The unique facilities and equipment of Complex 39 have no counterparts elsewhere. These include the 52-story Vehicle Assembly Building, the Launch Control Center, the Mobile Launchers, the Transporter, the Mobile Service Structure, and the Launch Pad. The nerve center of the Spaceport is the industrial area. All functions not required at the launch complex are grouped here for ease of administration and efficient operation. This is Space Center headquarters. From this building, Dr. Kurt Debus, the director, and his staff supervise NASA launches on Cape Kennedy, as well as the launch of heavy-class Apollo Saturn V rockets at the Spaceport. The Information Systems Building is the center's memory bank. It houses computers and other electronic systems which monitor, analyze, record, and store information from the launch of every NASA vehicle and its pre-flight tests. The Manned Spacecraft Operations Building is one of the larger facilities. It houses offices, laboratories, and living quarters for the astronauts. In the building's high bay, the Apollo spacecraft and lunar module undergo tests and preparations for flight. These include a computerized automatic check of the components. Air leak tests are conducted in a huge vacuum chamber which can simulate an altitude of 250,000 feet. The weight and balance of the Apollo spacecraft, including the astronaut and his personal couch, are also determined in this area. Other facilities include the Fluid Test Complex, a series of buildings used to test spacecraft systems which employ toxic or otherwise hazardous fuels. In the astronaut training facility, spaceflight missions are rehearsed. An Apollo spacecraft simulator, which can electronically duplicate the entire trip to the moon and back, is used to train the crews for their missions. The Lunar Module Simulator is used to rehearse the moon landing, as well as the astronaut's return trip from the moon to the orbiting command module. Your tour bus will also take you across the Banana River to Cape Kennedy. There you will see the launch facilities and rockets used for many past space missions. This is a Mercury Redstone, the vehicle that launched the first 2 Mercury astronauts into space. Your bus will drive past the Gemini Titan facility. NASA's 10 highly successful manned Gemini missions were launched from here over a 2-year period. The manned Gemini flight proved man's capability to maneuver his spacecraft in Earth orbit, to rendezvous and dock with another space vehicle, and to withstand long-duration missions up to 14 days in space. 5 of the astronauts also ventured outside their spacecraft to walk and to work in space. In all, the Gemini astronauts spent almost 2,000 man-hours in space, traveling some 17 million miles, rehearsing procedures that will be necessary to the Apollo lunar landing program. You will also see the launch sites for many unmanned space missions, those of Surveyor and Lunar Orbiter. The photos and data returned from the moon by these spacecraft will be used to help select a lunar landing site for the Apollo astronauts. Our orbiting weathermen, the TAROS and ESSA satellites, which aid in forecasting worldwide weather, were launched from here. This was also the launch site for the communications satellites, which bring us television broadcasts from around the world. The communications satellite, as with all satellites, is carefully inspected and tested at the Cape before being mated with its launch vehicle. Finally, you will see the Apollo uprated Saturn I complex, from where our first Apollo astronauts will be launched into Earth orbital missions. You may be interested in knowing more about the people who work at our nation's spaceport. About 2,700 are government employees who work for NASA. The others, some 18,000, work for industrial firms who contract their services to the space agency. Trans-World Airlines provides basic support services such as spaceport security, fire protection, and facility maintenance. Computer maintenance, base communications, and technical communications are handled by Federal Electric employees. Dow Catalytic provides facility design services, and Bendix employees are engaged in launch support. Ling Temco Vought provides information services. Answering the thousands of letters of inquiry received daily at the Space Center, and the preparation of artwork and brochures are part of this service. Apollo Saturn V stages are delivered to the spaceport by ocean-going barge or air transport. The first stage is built by the Boeing Company under direction of the Marshall Space Flight Center at NASA's Michoud Assembly Facility in New Orleans. 138 feet long and weighing 300,000 pounds, its 5 engines generate 7.5 million pounds of thrust. On arrival, the stage is moved into the low bay of the vehicle assembly building. The first stage and the 2 upper stages of the Saturn V are inspected and prepared for assembly in the low bay. The second stage is manufactured by North American Aviation in Downey and Seal Beach, California. The third stage is also built in California at Santa Monica and Huntington Beach by the McDonnell Douglas Company. The controlled environment of the vehicle assembly building eliminates problems of the past caused by extended exposure of the launch vehicles to wind, rain, and corrosion as they were assembled on the launch pad. 2 Apollo Saturn vehicles can be assembled at one time in the high bay. Each high bay is 150 feet wide and 52 stories high. The assembly platform for the Apollo Saturn V is the mobile launcher. The 44-story high tower is movable and serves as the platform from which the Saturn V is launched. The key to the mobile concept of operations at the spaceport is a mammoth tracked vehicle, the transporter. Weighing almost 6 million pounds, the transporter can lift, balance, and move the 11 million pound mobile launcher. The 450-foot high doors of the vehicle assembly building open to admit the transporter and its towering cargo. Inside, the launcher is lowered to supports, and the task of erecting the stages of the Saturn V begins. The first stage is lifted over the steel framework of the high bay and lowered to the deck of the mobile launcher. Work platforms, some as large as a 3-story building, move out from the walls of the bay and encircle the stage, allowing technicians access to the vehicle. The second and third stages of the Saturn V are next erected. Then the instrument unit, the brains of the lunar rocket, is erected. This unit is built by the International Business Machines Corporation in Huntsville, Alabama. The Apollo spacecraft, with its propulsion and lunar modules attached, is then mated with the launch vehicle. The command module and propulsion module are built in Downey, California, by North American Aviation under direction of the Manned Spacecraft Center. The lunar module, which will land 2 astronauts on the moon, is built by Grumman Aircraft at Bethpage, New York. Finally, the launch escape system is installed to complete the 365-foot rocket. 9 service arms extend from the tower of the mobile launcher to the vehicle. These arms carry electrical, communication, and fuel lines to the launch vehicle and spacecraft. Throughout assembly, technicians subject the vehicle to mechanical and electrical testing. These tests are monitored in the Launch Control Center by a series of electronic consoles and recorders located in one of 4 firing rooms. These consoles remain electronically connected to the Apollo Saturn V from assembly to liftoff and provide constant information to the launch crew about the functional systems of the vehicle. The launch countdown also is conducted with the equipment in this room. The fully assembled Apollo Saturn V is moved to the pad area about 2 weeks before launch. The 3 miles are covered at 1 mile per hour over a specially constructed 8-lane wide road which supports the 18 million pound load. The transporter's hydraulic leveling system keeps the mobile launcher and vehicle balanced during the 5-degree climb to the top of the launch pad. When the Apollo Saturn V is in place, the transporter carries the mobile service structure to the launch pad. This 400-foot high tower has 5 circular platforms which provide access to the vehicle for final pre-launch servicing. The final countdown for the lunar flight will begin about 48 hours before liftoff. All functional systems of the spacecraft and Saturn V are continually checked by computers throughout the automated countdown. When pre-launch servicing is completed, the mobile service structure is moved back to its parking area. About 90 minutes before liftoff, the 3 astronauts enter the Apollo Command Module. At T-6 seconds, ignition. At T0, the hold-down arms release, and the mighty 3,000-ton vehicle lifts off the pad. Within 2 minutes, the Apollo Saturn V is 36 miles high. The astronauts are on the first phase of their lunar voyage. America's spaceport will be the starting point for every manned lunar mission aboard the Apollo Saturn V. The National Aeronautics and Space Administration cordially invite you to tour the spaceport today, to see the many facilities which will play a vital role in man's greatest challenge, the exploration of the moon and the space beyond.